welcome to the Stuff of Legends. We are the Marvel Legends team at Hasbro, here with an awesome HasLab Fanstream. We're super excited. Ryan here from marketing, joined by
Dwight from design. Hello, everybody.
Our partner in marketing, Dan, couldn't be here today due to some scheduling conflicts, but we know he's watching back home, so shout out to Dan. Guys, we have a humongous day in store for us today. So huge, in fact, we needed to bring in a big guest. And so there's, you see him there. Welcome, Mr. Jesse Falcon from Marvel.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How you doing, everybody?
He is a titan in the toy industry, if you will. Thank you for joining us, Jesse. We've got a tall list of things to hit today. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So if you guys have been following the Hasbro Pulse Instagram account, which I know you all are for all your latest Marvel Legends news and updates, we've been having some fun here the past couple of weeks with some awesome diorama photography. Shout out to Matt, our photographer at Shooting the Galaxy. But we're going to recap, this is a 7-part series. We're going to quickly recap these. So we kicked off here with this awesome celebration of our classic Avengers. We've got a crowd cheering them on. There's a nice banner up top, but there's something in the distance there, Dwight. Who is there?
Yeah, we got that creepy little silver Ultron sneaking in the background there.
All right, so then part 2, we zoom in on that rooftop, and we've got Ultron, joined by a host of Marvel villains here, from MODOK to Loki to Baron Zemo, everyone, Thanos there. They're looking for a fight, I would say.
Up to no good.
Up to no good. Part 3, what do we have for part 3? Uh-oh. This kind of looks like a big battle is about to go down, and the Avengers, they appear outnumbered, but I don't know if they're necessarily outmatched because they are the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes.
True.
But things are kind of looking a little serious. And then we had part 4, the most recently, and there's a big looming shadow over the battlefield. So I think some help might be on the way.
Yes.
And that announced our stream today. So guys, thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, we will kick it over to the launch video for the next Marvel Legends HasLab. Let's take a look. All right, what an awesome video. That was great. How are you guys feeling about our big reveal? Jesse?
Yeah, it's amazing. Holy smokes, it's about time we put a new HasLab out there. We should do 5 of these a year.
Can you handle 5 a year, Dwight?
I might need some extra help for that, Mr. Falcon.
Yeah, listen, call me off the bench, coach. I'm ready to play.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk through. Everything you saw in that video, we'll kind of take them in order. But yeah, guys, this is our next HasLab, and for those wondering kind of why Giant Man, right? We know that 2023 is the 60th anniversary of the Avengers. It's been Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest. We've got our great product line, which you see on the shelf over Dwight's shoulder there, with some great new releases for our classic Avengers. And yeah, bringing these characters kind of into your modern collection, now is time for Giant Man. The last time Jesse and team did the Toy Biz Build-A-Figure Giant Man, I think still hands down one of the best Build-A-Figures ever.
Absolutely.
That was actually back in 2007, if I believe, right? So that's 16 years this year. It's math, right? And it's going to be 17 years next year. So it's been time to bring out Giant Man again. And we've had some great fun with some big villains, from the Sentinel, which was a fun troop builder, to a super big Galactus. But we thought now would be a time to do the largest hero ever in the Marvel Legends line.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, so here you see our prototype here, beautifully hand painted. So thank you to Tony and Kristen and Emmanuel and team in the model shop for hooking us up here. And you see we've arranged with our 6 Avengers 6-inch scale figures down below. But let's just take a closer look at some digital renders. And Dwight, can you just speak to just kind of the overall aesthetic and some of the inspirations that you worked with Jesse to draw on this particular design here?
Yeah. So anytime we work on a HasLab, we always go to the source material and we pull out a bunch of old comics. Jesse will find some of his favorite costumes and variations and send them to us. We do a lot of research on our own, and we try to find, what is the most definitive look from lore, and what of those looks would translate the best into a 24-inch awesome, huge action figure. And once we have those kind of bits and pieces together, then we just start having some fun. And this is the end result. He's 24 inches tall. He's all red, all blue. There's lots of beautiful oversprays into the recesses of the reds on his costume. So all of that detailing and the shadowing will really pop on your toy shelves. And he's got some extra little oversprays. The entire figure is covered in textures and details, like everything, every seam that would be in a costume of this size, every buckle, every zipper, all of that stuff is all with great love and detail put across this entire figure, as well as a quite impressive articulation system.
All right, yeah, so we're gonna get into all that kind of in due time, but just in terms of size, yeah, we've got this awesome render. Thank you to Jonathan and team for these awesome assets, but kind of inspired from a comic panel. But you've got the 24-inch tall Giant Man there, next to our 20th anniversary cap, which is 6.4 inches about, give or take, which he kind of comes up to the lower part of Giant Man's kneecap down there. And so just for a true kind of size comparison. But why don't we go through from head to toe, kind of features and details, and that'll just be a nice way to stay organized. So let's start at the top with his head. As you saw in the video, there's some interchangeable parts. Dwight, tell them about this sort of technology going on here.
Yeah, we took some learnings from our previous HasLabs. Every time we get the chance to do a new one, we always look at what we've done in the past, what worked well, and what might not have worked so well. And one thing that we loved about Galactus was the swappable faceplates, allowing you to give him different expressions and turn him into either a dead Galactus or a zombie kind of Galactus was really cool. And we thought, well, if we're going to give you a figure that's this big, if it was a 6-inch figure, we would just give you alternate heads, right? But that's not as easily done on this scale. So what we came up with was swappable, full swappable faceplates. So Galactus was just a mouth, but Giant Man, his eyes and mouth will be able to be removed from under his mask and swapped out with the different faces. So as you can see here, we have the heroic kind of stoic look of all of our, great heroes, but then we also have like a chill and happy expression, as well as I'm getting slightly pissed at all you people punching me in my kneecaps. So we have all these different heads that you can swap around the faces and get any expression you would want to go along with all of the articulation. You're gonna pose this guy out, in so many different ways. But above and beyond just the faceplates, we're doing something new that we've never done before on Legends on the eyes of this figure. So Giant Man's eyes this time around, for the first time ever, are actually a clear plastic. So like the entire eyeball is like a clear piece, and the deco for the eyes is painted on the back side of the eye. So this is going to give the most realistic eyes ever done in a Marvel Legends figure, and they look absolutely stunning and lifelike. So I think the photography is one thing, but once you actually see this thing in person somewhere down the road or on your shelves a year from now, I think you guys are going to be blown away by how amazing the realism is of the faces of Giant Man. Yeah,
and just to be clear, right, there is one head piece that is the the
red and the
mask.
antennas, yes.
Yep, that stays. And then there are 3, as you see in this diagram, there's 3 separate face plates, but it's like the complete face, and the mask goes around the eyes and rests on top of the bridge of the nose.
Correct.
Like an actual mask, all right. So because we have, these are, PaintMaster prototypes, we have the other heads here, but the faces aren't removable yet, but it does only come with 1 head, but that's all you need, because the face plates kind of come in and out.
Exactly.
Jesse, which one of these expressions would you say is your favorite? We've got 3 here.
I'll be honest with you, he's got to be pissed off because everybody's hitting him below the belt, because that's a high shot for everybody else, right? So I think that's pretty appropriate. I love the treatment of the eyes. I think it's a really great swing at doing something like this, adding a level of realism that we've not been able to do before. And the scale and size of something like this allows us to do that. So it's a fun thing to see realized.
That's right. We hope to be with the fans at some events soon, and as the campaign goes along, so you can kind of get up and close and personal with it and take some photos to really see how those eyes come across. So let's keep on moving down the figure. Let's get to some of the articulation, as Dwight alluded to. Let's talk to them about the shoulders and how those offer a great range of movement here.
Absolutely. For the first time in HasLab, we're delivering the full torso range of articulation. He's going to have the butterflies, as well as the double elbows, the bicep breaks. So you're really, and he has the torso rocker and the inverted ab crunch. So you're going to be able to get this thing to do anything that most of the newer generation of 6-inch Legends can do. He is definitely a step above what we've done and been able to deliver so far with Sentinel and Galactus. So I think all of that extra articulation breaks, which is hidden and concealed very, very nicely with the costume design that we chose, with the suspenders and the belt, as well as like his sculpted shorts. Really kind of doesn't, none of this extra articulation takes away from the design. It all adds to make the experience even better, whether you're just putting them on a shelf or you're totally into the toy photography, and you're going to be able to get this guy in all sorts of amazing poses.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit to that harness we were talking about, where, at a figure this scale, you can't just paint it, it needs to be a separate piece. But I know there's some nice textures going on here, and it actually doesn't really hinder kind of the pose.
Absolutely, yeah. Innovation, 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 people. We're doing some new things on even the simple things that you wouldn't think about. Typically, a harness like this would be attached to the belt, right? And whenever the figure turns, the belt would move with it. That's not going to be the case with Giant Man. So the VY harness goes all the way down underneath, between his mid and lower torso, and wraps underneath his shorts to complete the design. So as he rocks back and forward, and I can't show you on this model, but down the line when we get further along, we'll show you how that's actually going to work. The harness will stay in place and allow him to move around without that belt riding up or getting out of position, looking awkward and strange. So this new fully integrated looping system should be a step up and a massive improvement over any kind of suspender system you've seen thus far in this format.
Yeah, that's something that you might not realize by just looking at it, but once you get it in hand and you start posing them out, it's going to stay kind of flush to his body while you get him in different poses, right?
Exactly.
All right, so moving down from there, let's talk about the arms just real quick, kind of your standard Legends modern articulation from your bicep break and your double jointed elbows here.
Yep, bicep break, double jointed elbows. There is a break at the cuff, but it doesn't rotate because of the design of Giant Man's scalloped gloves. He has the articulation in his wrist, and like I said, the entire costume has a fabric texture detailing going across everything you see in the red, and there's lots of fabric folds and shadowing kind of applied to that to give it a very, very realistic look.
Yep, so pinless elbows too.
Pinless.
Can't forget that. And then let's keep going further down. We've got some, this is my favorite statistic.
Oh my goodness.
91 points of articulation. I know Jesse was impressed with that stat. We think it's probably the most ever. And part of that.
Yeah, it is. It's just not maybe it's absolutely the most ever for a Marvel Legend, at least. I mean, I challenge any of our friends in the toy community to come and meet us at a con and say, hey, I got you beat, or I had you beat. 91 points it's an outrageous number. It's outrageous.
And part of that is because if we go into the hands, there are actually 29 points of articulation. Dwight loves this, how I counted it up. There are 29 points of articulation in each hand because each knuckle has both a pin that swivels and a hinge in it, with the exception of one of the knuckles on the base of the thumb. So that's 5.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
30 minus 1. So it's 29 total,
Yeah.
total configurations.
The only thing that ever did that, to my knowledge, beforehand, was a couple of the Toy Biz items. They never rotated laterally the way that you guys have put it together. So that's a pretty outrageous number, guys. I'm going to keep using that word, outrageous.
Yeah.
This whole thing's outrageous.
I love the stats. So that's the hands here. All right. So let's work our way down. We talked about the belt. He's got some sculpted and detailed trunks here.
Yeah. He's got some really, really fashionable short shorts. Yeah, we have different fabrics for each of the different pieces of the costume, and all of them have their own unique texture. So that goes on to his shorts. There's the upper hip break like you would expect. There is the thigh to hip break, double pinless knees, and he has ankles that both pivot forward and also has the rocker, allowing them to rock left and right. And because this guy is so massive and so large, we also gave him toe articulation. So he can get down in some really cool crouching or getting ready to leap and stomp on any
What's that sound?
villain.
What's that sound? I hear screaming. That's Dan back home chanting for the toe articulation because he does that for you guys. For you fans. And so yes, toe articulation, you can kind of get him in a walking pose. We had that, I love that shot that we did with Jonathan of the stomping down with kind of the looking up perspective. We won't try to balance him. You probably could balance him on one leg like when you get him later on, but yeah, tons of detail, again, similar to the scalloped gloves. You got the same thing, same treatment going on for the boots. The boots look awesome. They've got a nice insole, a cushioned insole for all of his adventures there.
That much weight coming down on those knees, whew, you got to have a nice insole.
Support those arches. All right, so that's the product overview, guys. It is awesome. A lot of love from the whole team and attention to detail went into it, as we talked about. So let's kind of talk about the campaign and how this is all going to work. Those details were in the video. You can go back and watch it, but just to kind of recap here, right? This is your base offering. Our base threshold for backers is going to be 10,000 units, which is lower than Galactus, I believe, was at 14,000. So 10,000, nice round number. And a very important piece of information that I think everyone wants to know is what is this thing going to cost, all right? And so this thing,
drum roll.
The first number is the most important. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
It'll be $199.99 in the U.S. This is going to be available on, Hasbro Pulse exclusively, obviously, in the United States and Canada. Pulse is also now up in various European and Asian countries as well. So check those, local currency prices there. And we are working on a plan to make this available in some of the countries where Pulse is not yet. And so, things like Latin America, Mexico, and Australia and New Zealand. So our fans, tuning in there, please stay tuned for more details as they become available. So that is, and the timing, let's talk timing, all right? So this is going to run through Monday, October 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically like the end of Monday, on Monday, October 23rd. It's about 46 days. And let's get after it. And hopefully, you guys love this item as much as we do. We did want to get to the tiers. There are 2 tiers that you saw in the video, but just some first kind of learnings from overall previous campaigns, right? So along with Jesse, right, the Hasbro Legends team, we pride ourselves on taking learnings from every single release, certainly from every crowdfund campaign we do. And I think we've found that, the most successful, I think, crowdfund campaigns are when they are an iconic item and kind of the most stereotypical, your mind's eye version of a character. And we think Giant Man really fits this bill. And there's some other parts of the campaign that we were always borrowing best practices from our friends in the building, as well as other crowdfunds that we see going on in the marketplace. So to speak further to that, I think a lot of fans were speculating, as we would have too, on what the tiers could be and all the great, different 6-inch figures that could work as tiers. But You'll notice here we specifically did not build in any additional 6-inch figures as unlocks, and there's a couple reasons for that.
Yeah.
One was a learning from the previous campaign, the Engine of Vengeance, where I think people got really excited about some of the figures as tiers, but they were gated behind these unlocks of a high ticket HasLab purchase, and that's one way to do things. But we think if there are other classic Avengers, highly desirable type characters, that we will get to them as normal releases. And what that allows fans to do is space out the purchases.
Yep.
So that's why we can offer Giant Man for under $200. And other characters we can look to do release in other ways. And that's why our tiers for this are focused on plussing up the Giant Man experience itself.
Absolutely.
And I think everyone has different opinions on who they would want to see as maybe their kind of iconic characters, or like wacky, crazy, obscure characters that might work as tiers, but everyone's going to have a different opinion, and then we want to make sure everyone is as happy as possible. And so I think with the most accessible Giant Man campaign that we can offer, that's what we brought to you. That's my long-winded explanation of it. You guys got what else do you guys have to add to our strategy, maybe a little bit behind this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'd like to add. We wanted to make something people were going to buy. I've been working on this brand for over 20 years, and there's a small handful of things that have been prototyped and never brought to market. And those are the things that drive me the craziest. And I think that after coming out of the experience we had with the Engine of Vengeance and not funding it, we all got our heads together in a room and said, what are we going to make that people are going to want? And how are we going to put it together? And I think that's what you're looking at here today, folks. We've reassessed how we put these programs together. We were very concerned about what the price was going to be about something like this. And I think that ultimately this program with this price will do really well. I think people are going to be very satisfied with it. Dwight and the PD team and Ryan and Dan have done an amazing job at putting this program together. So I'm very excited to see the response from this video because I do think people are going to be very excited about it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's like, KIS, keep it simple, right? Why go and add all this crazy noise when you don't need it? Focus on the big guy, and what can we do to make this big guy as compelling as possible? And one thing we've had a lot of success with in previous campaigns is we added the ability to turn the Sentinel into something else, right? We turned it into the Master Mold. We were able to turn it into a Tri-Sentinel, as well as some battle damage. So we're like, all right, if that allowed that to turn the Sentinel into a troop builder, and because Jesse's insane, we were able to find a Doctor Doom variation for Galactus to make something crazy and awesome and weird for that. So we thought, let's keep in that same vein. And what's better than just a Giant Man? Well, what about a Giant Man that can battle a zombie Giant Man from the multiverse?
That's right, alternate versions of Giant Man. So just jumping into the first tiered unlock, this is going to be unlocked at 12,000 backers. Total globally. It is a zombie profile for a zombie Giant Man. So how does this work, Dwight?
Yeah, the zombie variation will have new chewed up antennae. They have some weathering and dirt. They've been gnawed on a little bit because he was hungry and he couldn't find anything to chew on. He also will have this incredibly grotesque face. Part of his nostril's been chewed or blasted off. He's got these really gross teeth. His eyes have kind of a yellowish sheen to them, and as you can see, his antennas are kind of like all cattywampus stuck in there. So this will be the same technique as the standard human heads, where you can remove the faceplate, pop out the antennas, and put the pristine ones in. But this allows you to, if you so choose, you can troop build, and you could have Giant Man versus Zombie Giant Man. And we're using the same zombie skin tone here as we've used on the last few zombies that we've done for the main line. So he'll fit in perfectly with your Iron Man and Scarlet Witch and Captain America zombies if you have those already.
Yeah, we have an awesome photo by Matt and the photo team, kind of showing your diorama possibilities. There you go, with those three zombie figures. And
Ryan and I were arguing over this finger articulation, right? And I'm like, but articulation doesn't count if your fingers don't actually move that way. And his counterpunch was, well, if it's a zombie, his fingers could be all busted and twisted and ganked. So you can, use that extra lateral movement with purpose
Look at
for
those
our
creepy zombie fingers.
variation. Yeah,
We made attention to have them bending in all the wrong places.
and all the wrong places.
Can you get a close up of that? It's very cool.
Yeah, so that is the first tiered unlock is a zombie faceplate and swappable antennae. And then the second tiered unlock is, again, that same kind of optionality and potential. If you wanted to get multiples or just vary up your display, this is allowing you to have a Skrull giant man. So tell them about this piece, Dwight.
Yeah, so the Skrull head is an actual entirely swappable head because, as you can see, the white pads on the side of Giant Man's head have been replaced by his big, giant, grotesque Skrull ears. So there's been a lot of Skrull action this year with Disney Plus, and in the comics, they're always, a great, foil for the heroes. So, why not allow that to be played out in plastic form as well? So once again, a really grotesque face, super yellow, gross looking eyes, and a fully realized head that you can just swap off. You can just pop off Hank's head here and pop the Skrull on. Just that simple. And now you've got, an all new bad guy for your heroes to contend with.
To go along with your Skrull, Queen, and Super Skrull 2-pack that came out earlier this year, and I think we also did some Skrull troop builders on the Pulse a couple of years ago, so hopefully you guys got some Skrulls lying around. And the zombie faceplate, I believe, was Dwight's suggestion because we were thinking about faceplates, and Jesse actually brought us the idea to do a Skrull head.
Absolutely.
And so that was awesome. And so everyone kind of contributing ideas to make the best offering kind of possible. And here's a diorama shot with our Skrullified Giant Man with that 2-pack of Skrull Queen and the Super Skrull down below with a nice green kind of lighting effect. But this is your third potential display option for your Giant Man if we get to that second tier unlock at 14,000 backers. So that will kind of pretty much do it, guys. This is a really fun item. It's been great to work on. It's kind of more simplistic a silhouette than the Galactus or the Sentinel, but if you look closely, there's so much detail in the different textures, as Dwight was saying. There's thoughtful, useful articulation from shoulders to that 2-part torso to legs and toe articulation and everything. And we really, we've got some renders here to close out with. You can have him crouching, you can kind of have him standing, posing, he can be stoic, he can be happy, he can be angry depending on what's going on. Here are some shots from our diorama shoot with him staring down Ultron. And then what's our next shot? Oh, he's ripping the Ultron in half with the angry face. And we think this will fit in great with your classic Avengers collection. There we have them all on the rooftop celebrating after a hard-fought battle against Ultron. Jesse, Dwight, any final thoughts for the fans?
Just a big thank you to the fans for the support over the years. We're very excited to see the response of this. Hope you guys like it as much as we do. We will see you at PulseCon, and if you're in New York Comic Con, swing by and say hello.
I got nothing. We got it covered, man. This thing's, I love this thing as much as I've loved everyone that I've had the opportunity to work on, and I thank you fans for supporting so many of our crazy ideas, allowing us to continue to make these crazy dream projects. And I think next week we have to start talking about the next one, right, Mr. Falcon?
Can't wait.
Yeah.
We do. We have not yet decided what it's going to be, guys. This is a true story, right?
Yep.
So we need to, hopefully this campaign kind of goes well and unlocks some other possibilities. Let us know what you'd like to see next, but really go and show your support for Giant Man here. Let us know if you have any, questions and feedback. Yeah, we're here. This is day one.
Yep.
And we'll be back before October 23rd. We'll come faster than we think.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next time. Thank you, Jesse, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Make my Marvel.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go back Giant Man on the Hasbro Pulse and check us out at PulseCon September 22nd.